go. Lovely. Thank you. You can put it down there.
Is that it?
Oh, no. That's just priming the engine. This is the fun bit. I've been waiting for this since, well, almost.
Hello. I'm Aziraphale.
Nice meeting you. Okay, here goes. Let there be matter, let there be gravity, let there be everything from pages 11 to 3,602 inclusive.
Something meant to happen.
All right, sorry, yes. I knew I missed one. Let there be light.
Good Lord.
Look at you, you're gorgeous.
You made it all yourself?
Well, I mean, more or less. I wasn't.
I'm Vance Bastian, here with my co-host S.A. Baz Collins for this week's Written on the Edge, Season 8, Episode 34, Entertainment Review. Baz and I will be giving our thoughts and reviews of Good Omens Season 2, and exploring how it relates to queer life, as well as discussing its strengths and flaws. What'd you think? Or do you want to, we should give the official blurb.
Yeah.
Blurb. Now exiled from heaven and hell, Aziraphale and Crowley must team up once again after the mysterious arrival of a familiar face.
Isn't it pronounced Aziraphale?
I've heard Aziraphale, Aziraphale, because he was Mr. Fell's bookshop.
Mr. Fell, yeah. Who knows? It's the Brits. They fucking mispronounce everything.
But
fucking Derby and Darby. Don't get me started.
Okay, but originally an Old Testament name through multiple translations into British English. Don't even try.
As I said, the British got involved, so they're going to mispronounce it. They still don't know how to say oregano. All right. Anyways, yes.
You've got some feelings on this, don't
you? You will not believe how much I yell at Great British Bake Off when I watch it. Anyways.
I take it you're not a fan of aluminium?
No, I'm not. Although I find it interesting. And the fact that they feel they must pronounce the H in herbs when they didn't used to, because being French was cool at one point in England. They liked to be French influenced. They didn't want to admit to it, but they did. The English court kind of pulled from the French court and fashion and everything. And so it became fashionable for them to inflect some French into their own language. So they went to herb, and then they went back to herb. So, just stop it. Just stop it. Anyways, back to Good Omens. Oh, sorry, my cat was chewing on my monitor. I had to stop her. Yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing. She loves to bite my monitor. I have no idea why. She has an obsession with it. Anyways, my thoughts on Good Omens. I really like the show. I like the universe. I love the portrayal of heaven and hell. Heaven being corporate and very clean and very like hyper Scandinavian in its starkness. And I just love the art direction. The art direction is gorgeous. And the filming, the videography, the color palette, everything about this show, even down to the credits. It has some of the most inventive and ingenious credits of any show I've ever seen. It's just phenomenal. That said, I do find some of the storylines and plot points to be a bit odd at the choices they make. So there are things I just kind of go, really? That's where we're going to go? Okay. So that's my 2 cents. What are yours?
We should really preface this by saying everything that's going to come out of my mouth today is going to be one big spoiler. Just 20 minutes of spoilers from Vance Bastian. Go. Um, this is the Empire
I'll put
Strikes
a time
Back of the
code where you can
series.
go to pass the spoilers.
Okay, that's actually not a bad thought. This is the Empire Strikes Back of the series. It's crucial to carrying it forward to the third part, but in and of itself does not end with the happiest of endings. And it ends with an okay ending, but not the happiest. Honestly, I haven't spoiled anything yet, have I?
No, you haven't.
So the representation was beautiful. I will say that right now. The change in cast member for Beelzebub was actually, they made a little crack at it in the final episode of the season, which was hilarious. Well played. Some of the ambiguity of these characters, because after all, angels, demons, the celestial slash demonic beings in general don't have to have gender, and that's played with in this case, which is also very fun. But the human circles that Mr. Fell travels in are also wildly diverse, and it was really beautiful to see. There was a budding potential lesbian relationship, and I'm not going to tell you how that ended. There was a beautiful marriage between a man and a non-gender, non-binary.
Non-binary,
It wasn't, yeah, it wasn't specifically spelled out, but it was obvious that this
it was
person
the
didn't care
English
for
version
gender
of
roles.
Jonathan Van Ness.
Yeah, it really was. And again, these are just people who travel, humans, mortals, who travel in Mr. Fell's circles, and they had roles to play in this story. I thought that was wonderful, wonderful. And then the main love of the story is derailed at the end of this season, a la Empire Strikes Back. Anyway, it's not that I'm unsatisfied, though I kind of am. It's mostly that, okay, give me the next part sooner rather than later because I need to see how this ends out.
Of which we don't know if we're going to do it because
Admittedly, right?
While a British production, they are standing in solidarity with their American counterparts, and so things have slowed quite a bit in Britain. It hasn't come to a screeching stop, but it has slowed. They understand that what the actors are dealing with in America and the writers, it is very, very much a danger to their shores. So who knows when I mean, right now we probably will see some British exports still coming in, but it's kind of,
it's going to trickle.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that I agree with you. It is the Empire Strikes Back of the series. It is the sophomore. It is very much suffering from sophomore outing. Not pulling back from any. I love the different abled angel, so we have complete representation across the board.
That was beautiful.
And so I really love so many of the elements of this show. I love the gorgeous storytelling as far as how it's presented screen wise. I love that they reached back to season 1 to give you the long throughput of why they were doing season 2 the way they did. So they went back and grabbed a thread and pulled it forward to show you that this is one long story, that not to forget what happened before. It's not like each season is an encapsulated thing. It is part of a much longer arc. I just love the chemistry between Michael and David. They have honed these two characters so well. Although I will say, if anybody has watched the remake of why can't I think of the name of the movie now? Sidebar. The one with Anton Yelchin.
Star Trek?
No. The vampire movie. Fright Night. God damn it.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
On Sidebar. The remake of Fright Night. Crowley has a lot of Peter Vincent, which came before he did Good Omens. So I while I love his portrayal of Crowley. There are a lot of elements I see of his portrayal of Peter Vincent in the remake of Fright Night. So there are times when I kind of go,
well, did you see Jessica Jones, the Defenders series on Netflix?
No,
in
I haven't
season 2 or 3, I forget which one of that, he was also the villain, and there are again echoes of Crowley.
Yeah. So, there seems to be an element of David's, this is my bad boy. And I'm not detracting from the performance because, as I said, what you go for in this story is the chemistry between Crowley and Aziraphale or Aziraphale or Aziraphale, whatever. Mr. Quiltbag himself, however we're going to pronounce it this week. But I really like, and I love the historical context they did throughout the season, so that you got to see Crowley and Aziraphale throughout the time span of them going rogue and being on their own and kind of operating in this gray area. And they even bring up the subject of gray between white and black, a lighter shade of gray, no, a darker shade of gray, that kind of thing. And I love that. I love that that was a real strong element in this season. I thought the first season was slightly more kitschy, whereas this one seemed to be a little more focused on the direction of where the show is going eventually. The hint of where we're going to be. And I also think that the unpursued romantic element that was derailed at the end, I think I have hope, because the glance that Aziraphale has back to Crowley as the elevator doors close going to heaven, he almost broadcasts, or at least I took it this way, that he almost broadcasts, I can fix this because I'm going to be in a place of great power. I can make this work. And so while Crowley thinks he's given up on them, I think Aziraphale thinks, I can do this. I can still make it work. And I will have the backing to do it. And I think that's where it's going to be interesting for Crowley as to how far will he meet him, especially because basically he unzipped his fly quite directly at the very end and put his heart on the line and was convinced by the lesbian characters to do so, and then to have it smashed because Aziraphale did not have the courage of it. Yeah. Aziraphale did not have the convictions.
Can I address something you said at the beginning of that? The difference between the seasons? So the original novel was written by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. And Terry Pratchett's style is very, very, very tongue-in-cheek satire, whereas Neil's is very dark fantasy, urban fantasy. So season 1 adhered to the book really well because there was that play of the two writers, but you could see their voices. And Terry's was the sort of kitschy side of things that you were referencing. Season 2 didn't have Terry Pratchett. He has left us.
Yeah.
So this is now guided by Neil and his people, but definitely more of his voice at this point.
Yeah. And I think, when you look at like Sandman, it's got same kind of elements. It's got the same gorgeous vision, same as American Gods, so you can definitely see the Gaiman brand fully presented in this. He has a very high bar artistically of what he sees as a vision, and more power to an author having that kind of control over their worlds as they're presented. Look how long it took Anne Rice to get Interview and Mayfair Witches to a place that's closer to her work, and unfortunately she didn't live to really see all of it come to fruition, but it's rare when an author has that kind of control, that level of influence. So more power to Mr. Gaiman and his endeavors out in the entertainment field, and the fact that he's unapologetically an ally. He doesn't care if you don't like this world. Then fine, it's not for you. Go there, go over there. Leave the rest of us to play.
Yep.
And I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you listening, Greg Berlanti?
Numbers?
I'm never going to give that one up.
No, you're not. I've accepted. All right, I'll go first while you're taking a drink. Okay. For all the reasons you mentioned, production quality, solid 5. Script, screenplay, I did give it a 4, only because it's kind of the middle piece of the story, and that always has that element of, come on, just give me the rest of it. Sound, lighting, score, also 5. Beautiful. Art direction, costuming, 5. Casting, 5. Everybody was cast. Even some of the recasts were perfect.
And they explained them.
I did give a, and they explained them, and they even kind of poked fun at them, which was even better.
Yes. This is a different person. I mean, it's like, we see it too.
We're talking about supernatural entities who are like, I want to look like this today.
Yeah, exactly.
Directing, I did give a 5, because while the middle story aspect of it kind of bummed me out, I think the director brought the vision from beginning to end. I don't think there was ever a misstep there. Queer themes presented, 4.5. Again, it's just a wonderfully diverse cast. And it was the element I love from Schitt's Creek, in that's just this world. Nobody had a problem with any of it, which was beautiful. So my personal overall rating, 4.75.
Oddly enough, my numbers are pretty much the same damn thing, because I think we're both on the same page with how we take in this world. It's beautiful. It's not perfect, so thusly the slight variation along the top. So it's a percolating 5. It's not completely all there. It's got bubbles and peaks and valleys. So I'm going to agree with your numbers. I think that they're pretty much spot on. The thing I do love about the diversity is that they don't forget. They don't really try to leave anyone behind. Everybody's represented, both culturally, sexuality spectrum, their ablement spectrum. It's all presented. Although, can I say, that has got to be the busiest damn corner in all of London. There are so many fucking people on that sidewalk. I just blows my mind. And it's not even a major street in London. It's like a side street. It's like over there, yet it has like more people than go to a Costco here in the States. I mean, it's wacky crazy how many people are on that freaking street. That Merchants Association has nothing to complain about. They've got a lot of shoppers.
All I will say is it totally depends on where the nearest tube stop is and what's between it and the rest of the world.
True, but they don't reference a tube stop anywhere in the show, so it's kind of like...
They don't need to. If it's a major thoroughfare between something important and a tube stop, it will have the traffic.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I just find it really, really bizarre. And there's no variation. It's like, okay, it's daytime, floodgates. And then nighttime, no one. Oh, well.
All right, do check it out, folks, especially if you've seen season 1. And, hopefully the production studios get their boom mics out of their backsides and we can get some new stories told, because I'm ready for season 3.
Yeah, and I will have to say, if people aren't sure what we're talking about with the art direction, all you have to do is look at the posters that they produced for this thing. That gives you a solid idea of how gorgeous this show is.
Yep. So. All right. Written on the Edge is produced by Rogue Ravens Media. For our disclaimers, links to social media, our listen stations, or to sign up as a guest, visit www.roadpodcast.com. If you enjoy learning about new artists or hearing our thoughts on entertainment media, please like and subscribe so you get the alerts for new episodes. Tune in Friday for our interview with J. Scott Coatsworth.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Closing time. The bums rush in melody, dear.